Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Leadership Satsang. I am your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mehendiratta, welcoming you all to another insightful and interactive session on leadership and spirituality. I'm going to take another minute for you all to start coming in because we start sharp at 8 o'clock. And that's why I wanted to hold the space for you so that you all can come in and join me live for this discussion. I sincerely do want to thank many of you who have been a part of these sessions for a long time. I'm sure it's become a part of your routine as it is a part of mine. It is that time in the week that I so look forward to because this is my window with you. This is our time together. And that's what makes it so precious and so valuable for me. I hope you've been receiving value from these satsang sessions. I would love to get some feedback from you all on how these sessions are going for you, what value you're receiving, are you finding it useful, how is it helping you to deal with the many challenges that come with the leadership role, whether it is the personal life or professional life. We play leadership role in multiple ways in different aspects of life, and my intention to do this session is just to help you ease out that effort, and in the process help you enjoy yourself and find a better version of who you can be. That's the intention with which I hold these leadership satsang sessions. So we are going to start with chanting that we always do. And I know you know for a fact that the last Tuesday of every month is an open house, which means that I will be open to receiving any questions that you may have in the space of leadership or spirituality, any challenge that you're facing that you want to bounce off, and I will do my best to help you deal with it. That on the other side of the chant so that we can be here completely. And then let's see what the challenges are and find some possible ways to overcome them. So may I invite you all to please find a comfortable place to sit and ensure that your spine is straight. Let's for a moment forget about everything else happening in life. Let's just be here, right now with me for just another 30 minutes. May I request you to please close your eyes, keep your spine straight and shoulders relaxed, and take a nice, beautiful breath in. If you feel anything tight around your waist, loosen up. See if you can avoid sitting cross-legged so that you're more open and you can allow energy to pass through you. Let's close our eyes and take another beautiful breath in. And with that, prepare ourselves to chant Om 5 times together. I invite you to do that aloud if you can in your environment and in your space so that you can feel the vibrations of the chant. Let's take another breath in. And as we exhale, we'll start the chant together. Breathe in. Om. 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 Shanti. 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 And whenever you're ready, please rub your palms together. Place them gently on your eyes and face and ears and neck. Slowly come back. And as you do, please share with me how you're feeling in this moment. Which part of the world are you in right now? Where are you joining me from? I would love to welcome you for this live session right now. So let's have a quick interaction. And today is going to be a very, very interactive day. So I'm going to be looking at the chat window very keenly to see if I can help you overcome some of the challenges you're facing in life, which we all do time and again. I would love to welcome. What we need to do is find a mentor, find this necessary support to help us deal with them in a more efficient manner and faster way, and not spend the time that we have spent in the past to deal with such challenges. Let's just make the process a little faster. Let's just expedite with a mentor who could help you deal with them. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity in today's satsang session. Let me welcome you all. Thank you, Anthony, for being here. So good to have you here, Indiran. I think not having you around is going to be something I will start missing if you don't show up. So thank you, Premraj. I have the same to say for you as well. Thank you for being here every single week and grabbing every opportunity to learn that can help you to grow in your career and in your life. I think that it's that unsatiated hunger you have, which helps me to keep doing what I do and just makes it so easy for me, honestly, because you show up every week. And so it becomes much easier for me to show up every week. Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to look at the space, the common space for your questions. Please feel free to put out your questions and I will take them in the sequence in which I received, and I will see what I can say and help you to do for you to overcome those challenges. Prema, thank you for joining in. Thank you so much, Adarsh. So good to have you here, and every single person who's joined me live today. It means a lot. Thank you so much. All right, so the house is open for you to ask any question that you may have, the real challenges that you're facing, not just in your professional, but also in your personal life, if you're comfortable sharing, because we are the same, right? We don't have a different personality. We don't need to create one to deal with personal life and a different you for your professional life. In fact, the more they come together, the more alignment we create between our personal and professional life, the easier it gets for us to be authentic, the easier it gets for us to build those strong connections which are important in every relationship, right? So don't feel the need to be a different person in a different environment. I don't know kahan se aaya ye hamare mind mein, but somehow हमारा ये ऐसा एक mindset है काफी लोगों का कि आप personal space में वैसे नहीं रह सकते जैसे आप हो. But I don't understand why. Because you're playing to your strengths if you are who you are. What you need to keep in mind is to be appropriate, right? Obviously, if you laugh in a certain way, which is very like loud or whatever, and you may want to kind of mellow it down in a professional space, that's just you being appropriate. It's not you being a different you. There is a difference in being appropriate and being less authentic. You can still be authentic, but need to be mindful of being appropriate basis the environment, just as how we are appropriate with our dressing, isn't it? We know what to wear for a wedding and what to wear when we go to bed, what to wear when we go to work. We know that the outfit is going to be different. It should be different. It is what makes it more appropriate. So that appropriateness is needed, is necessary in a professional space. But that does not mean that you don't have to be who you are. In fact, only when you allow that can you play to your strengths. So please take that out of your mind if for whatever reason it is part of your mindset or your thinking that I can't be myself if I have to be a leader, if I have to make people take me seriously, then I need to act different. The more you do that, the more exhausting it is, and the more difficult it will be for you to build real connections. So let's not do that at all, because it has pretty much no value. I hope that already helps you to ease out and be who you are in every space. Kailash, so good to have you here. Malar, good to have you. Hoishi, thank you for joining in. Mrigendra, what a beautiful name. Thank you for joining in. Wonderful. So thank you guys for being here. I am looking forward to reading out your questions from comments. And I see one here that says, kindly explain more about compassion, how to create more compassion in any decision we make. That's a very, very beautiful question, Indiran. Thank you for asking that question. Compassion is an emotion that we haven't practiced as much as we need to. Right? We consider compassion as another variant of love. But love and compassion are two very different things. When we love, there is some expectation attached to it. We want to be loved in return. We have certain expectations from the person we invest our love in. So love is a very different emotion where we connect with a person in a way that there is mutual understanding, respect, intimacy that we develop with people. And that intimacy doesn't have to be a romantic intimacy, but it is intimate emotions that gets involved when we fall in love, as we say, with people, or when we love people, and not just fall in love in a romantic manner, but when we really do love people, we are emotionally invested. There is a lot of emotional, intense intimacy in those relationships. Compassion, on the other hand, is much broader, wider than love. So love could be a subset of compassion, but compassion is our ability to see the world with kindness. It's our willingness to drop the need to judge. It's our mindfulness to be aware of where people come from and the many perspectives that they bring to the table, knowing that your perspective is not the only one that exists. Compassion allows us to go beyond love and hate. Compassion allows us to give space and presence and attention to people around, whether a part of us thinks they deserve it or not. The fact that they're there is what allows you to give them their space and their time so that they can put out what they feel and how they think. Right? Compassion is when you go beyond your biased view or opinion about people. You see, we can't choose our teams, right? We can barely choose any people in our personal space as well. You've not chosen your parents. Of course, in a spiritual space, it is said that we do, and that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, we have the parents we have, and they are the way they are, and we have the children we have, and they are the way they are. Right? So we learn to deal with these relationships. In the professional space, there is no difference, except that those relationships can be short-lived, and you have to deal with them till you are in that organization. When you move on, you choose whether you still want to stay in touch with these people or not. Having said that, you might not like everybody you work with, right? You might not definitely love everybody around, and that's okay. What is important is to learn to be friendly with people so that you have a positive, friendly environment in which you work and environment that you create for others. You don't have to necessarily be friends. There is a difference in being friendly and being friends, right? So you don't have to make friends, as we say, in our work environment, but we definitely need to learn how to be courteous and friendly with people, even if we disagree with them, even if we don't like a few things about them. Because not only will they not change for you, they don't even want to change for you. Just as how you don't want to change for anyone either. The fact is that no one can change anyone. So if we are sitting and waiting for people to change as per how we think they should be, how a boss should be, how a peer should be, how a direct should be, the shoulds that we have in every relationship is the source of pain for us. Compassion helps you to drop these shoulds and accept people as who they are. And that brings in a lot more ease for you to look at the bigger picture. We are here to work together to achieve that. Now, I like you or I love you or I don't is a different thing altogether. That's got nothing to do with this. That's got nothing to do with our ability to bring our strengths to the table and find a way to complement each other's skills to achieve that one big goal, that big picture. That's what leadership is all about. To be able to elevate to a level where you can see the entire gamut of things. You're able to enjoy the whole landscape and not just be a part of one element of it. What helps you to get there is to develop compassion, is to develop the ability to look at people with kindness, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to remember that your perspective is not the only, to know that you might or might not be right about a situation, but it is more than just the right and wrong that helps you to deal with any situation. That is the real meaning of compassion. I hope I've been able to help you understand this, because until we go into the depth of what you're asking, then the answer is just not going to help, right? It doesn't have to sound right. It needs to serve you right. And if you go back with this understanding, I have no doubt that it'll serve you very well to lead more effectively, knowing that we will not choose people, but we can choose to deal with them in a different way, to deal with them more compassionately. Right. So I hope this has been able to help you in the run. Please put it in the comments if you found this to be useful. Would love to hear from others as well. If you found value in my response to this very beautiful and relevant question that you've asked in the run, thank you for putting it out. And while you do that, I'm quickly scrolling to see what the next question is. And that comes from Hoishi. And she asks how to deal with people who are always complaining, especially when they are your family members. Okay, beautiful. See how this just connects with what I was talking about a while back. We can't choose people, and that includes how our family members are. The family, and we have a certain structure in the society to create some sanity, right, within the society, so people know how to deal with each other. And that's when we created these units we call as family, where people have a certain level of commitment towards each other and a sense of belongingness. Having said that, not everyone might be who you think they should be or who you expect them to be in that role they play in your life. This is how my mother should be. This is how a father should be. This is how a sibling is supposed to be. The shoulds once again come in our way to not accept people as who they are. Right? What we do with family, which probably is something we don't do in every other relationship, especially professional relationships, not to that extent, is to take them for granted. Right? We just think that they will take our moods for granted, they will take our madness for granted, they will take our irrational behavior. They will accept all of that because I am taking them for granted, because I feel they do the same to me. When you take relationships for granted, you stop working on them. And when you stop working on relationships, you stop nurturing them. And when you're not nurturing something, it will wilt. Make sense? So if you want to continue nurturing, if you want the relationships to become healthier, you need to continue working on it. Whether it is a relationship with your sibling or your parent or your child or anybody who's important to you in your personal as well as professional space. Taking people for granted is what comes in our way to consciously work on relationships. We get married and we think, now we're married, now what? Now what's there to do? I've already told you I love you and you love me, and hence we got married. And that's the end of us telling that to each other, really. That's the end of expressing our love or doing things that can make us feel loved. Many of us stop doing that. And the same holds true even if you talk about your relationships with your siblings. As we grow, we find our own path. And we are sometimes physically, away from each other. We have these long distance relationships. Nurturing them becomes even more important because you're not physically present. You're not in proximity with each other. The more you work on relationships, the more the relationships serve you back. And with that, it adds a lot more quality to your life. I always keep saying this because there is no end for us to remind ourselves that quality of our life is a function of quality of our relationships, period. If your relationships are good, you're going to live a good life. If your relationships are a mess, life is going to look like a real mess. Do we need to change people for that? Try doing it. I don't think you'll be able to, because I think it's pretty much impossible. What you can do, however, is change your own way of looking at situations. Drop the expectations of the shoulds that you carry in this relationship that's on your mind right now, Hoishi. Compassion that I was talking about a while back. See if you can appreciate their own hang-ups and their imperfections, just as how you have your own imperfections and your own hang-ups. Some other people are dealing with that as much as you think you're dealing with this person's imperfections. Imperfection is what makes us more beautiful. It makes us more human. And there is no way for people to get rid of them, even if they're aware of these imperfections. Sometimes you're not even aware. of what these imperfections are. But even if you are, how willing are you to work upon it? Is a question you should ask yourself before you compel somebody else to see, hey, you know what, look at this part of you that I don't like, please change it so that we can have a better relationship. That doesn't look like a formula which will work in our favor. So how do you deal with that? Is to accept them with their many imperfections, knowing that you have many more within you, no matter to what extent you agree to that. Right? The more you look within, the more there is to see. And that is why not everyone has the courage to go onto this path of self-discovery. Sabke bas ki baat hai hi nahi. It's not easy. I'm telling you that. It's just going to show you so many cobwebs and so much darkness within that you might just feel a little overwhelmed or lost. And that's why having a mentor, having a teacher in this path is so important, because you can totally feel lost. But the first step in this direction has to come from your own willingness. And let me tell you this, the plus point or the pros of this effort is to understand how you can protect yourself at all times. Protect your peace, protect your happiness, protect your core. If you've learned how to protect that, then nobody can touch you, nobody can rattle you, nobody can shake you up, no matter who it is. Right? And that is what I call as a real superpower. If you have that power, it is a superpower. And that needs to be developed. So I'm very grateful for these kind of questions, because somewhere this discovery and this thought process is going to help you make a start towards that journey. And I know, Hoshi, you have made a start already. We're doing the 1-year spiritual leadership program, and that's going to be one of the best decisions you've made in your life, and you will soon see that. So thank you. Thank you for taking that courageous first step. Super. Senthil, so good to have you here. Glad you joined the session. Awesome. And thank you for sharing that I'm adding value. It's so important for me to keep confirming that, just so I know that the sessions to come should include many more challenges and topics that will be of more value and more insightful for you all. So thank you so much for that encouragement there. All right, compassion can build empathy as per the discussion and my understanding. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right, Sarada. That's what will help you to build real empathy. Compassion invariably demands sacrifice. So where to put a limit so it does not start affecting our own life and our own family. Okay, so what you mean as a sacrifice is an understanding that I would love to go deeper into, right? And ask you a few more questions on what sacrifice looks like for you. Right? Compassion is not something that we are doing as a favor or obligation on anybody. We are not buying votes with this. We are not aiming to be more popular or more liked by doing this. We're actually building the ability to be compassionate for our own sake. We're doing this very selfishly. So where is the sacrifice here? And if there is, it is your choice. You're making this choice and you can choose not to. But why are you making this choice? Is because what you will get in return is a lot more respect for yourself, a lot more ease and understanding of dealing with people, challenges, and relationships. And that serves us much better than anything else that you probably seemingly are sacrificing in a situation. Right? Being compassionate does not mean becoming a doormat. It does not mean letting people take you for granted. It means being open to listen, observe, understand people. That does not take away your ability to still share your point of view. You're just more mindful of how to do it. You're just more skilled to do it differently in different environments with different people for different contexts. That's what it means. Right? So compassion is not like, okay, I'm going to crucify myself for your good, whether or not you value. What it means is I'm here to understand what you value and how can I help you to get that. I want you to understand what I value and how I see that coming in from you and how I see us working towards it together. That discussion, that conversation requires compassion in your heart. Because when there is lack of it, then you work from your own labeling that you've done on people, your own biases, your own strong opinion about what you like and mostly dislike about people. And if you operate from there, you're not even listening. Because active listening requires an open mind. You need to free up the space here to be able to truly listen. But how do you listen with heaviness in your heart? Is that possible? Ask yourself. I doubt if it is, because you've already labeled this person as stubborn or whatever else, whatever other many labels that we have for everybody out there, that this person is bad, this person is cheap, this person is greedy, this person is headstrong. And if we operate from those labels, it's very difficult for us to see them in a different light. And until we're able to do that, there is no way for us to come to any meaningful conclusion. Right? To work on relationship requires your willingness. You don't have to, absolutely don't have to. But if you think that you deserve better quality of life, then I can't find another way, or I can't make another recommendation except to say that start looking at your relationships more closely and see if you can take them a notch higher, just a notch higher. See if you can improve them a little more. See if you can invest a little more of your time, a little more of your attention, a little more effort to make this person who's so important for you to know that he or she is, and not just assume because you want them to assume, because it's much easier and comfortable for you that way. That I don't have to do anything. I don't have to say anything. It should just be known. It doesn't work like that. That's when relationships become very transactional. काम से काम की बात, जितना मुझे आपसे चाहिए, जितना आपको मुझसे चाहिए, हमने उतनी बात की, and that's about it. Where is the what we call as the spark, right? That needs to be worked upon. That needs to be kept alive. And for that, we need to do some work because we want to do it. Let me please emphasize on the fact that it's a function of your willingness. There is absolutely no compulsion. There's no compulsion to live a higher quality of life. You don't have to. Absolutely not. If you're happy with the way it is, awesome. But if you think you deserve better, then look at your relationships. And if you invest a little bit there, you will get a much higher return on this investment than any other that you've ever made in life. All right, I hope this answered your concern, Prakash. If it did, then please mention in the comments. And for today, I'm picking up the last session, last question in the interest of time. And that's from Shilpa. And she says, how do we handle when the other party is not ready to react appropriately when we are compassionate? How could you please give an instance? Okay, so if the other person is not ready to react appropriately, I'm making some assumptions here, Shilpa, because it's unclear to me exactly what you're referring to and what is the situation on your mind right now. But I'm assuming that you're talking about being polite and proper with this person who is shouting and is aggressive and is acting difficult. Is that the right assumption to make before I attempt to respond on your question? Give me a yes in the comments, Shilpa, or please add more to it and elaborate on what you mean when you say when the other person doesn't react appropriately. What does that mean? Does that mean that you are being kind and considerate, but the other person is just all over the place and taking you for granted and screaming and shouting and insulting you and is being rude or being very difficult? If that's what you mean, then we need to allow them the time to calm down. The best way to make people realize that they are inappropriate is to give them the space to reflect. Please listen to this carefully. Silence allows people to reflect and realize their own behavior. They need to reflect upon it. They need to realize it in the moment. If we allow some silence to come in, when we see people behaving in an inappropriate manner, we quickly jump in to give them a reaction because we think they deserve that, right? As we say, ईंट का जवाब पत्थर से. So किसी ने अगर आपके ऊपर ईंट फेंकी तो उसको realize तो होने दो, but वो realize होने से पहले हमारा पत्थर तैयार है. You know, we are ready with a response, and that is what we call as a reaction. Why? Because the person asked for it. What do you mean? Excuse me, you can't behave like this with me. And by you saying that, does the person really realize it? I don't think so. A better realization would be if you hold the space and allow some pause, some silence to come in. Let this person see what they're doing. Let them do their entire act, the whole dance, pop around like a popcorn. You enjoy the show, sit and wait till the steam settles. You know what I'm saying? You see, when you cook in the kitchen, right? or you've seen somebody cook, if you don't yourself, you would have seen that we use this utensil called as pressure cooker, right? It's a faster way to cook. So what do? We put whatever we need to, and then we allow a few whistles to blow. And then we know that enough steam is built within the vessel for the food to be cooked. And then we'll switch off the gas, but we don't immediately open the cooker. Is that right? We don't immediately open the pressure cooker. Do we do that? We don't do that. What do? We wait for it to settle, for the steam to settle. Even after we've heard the whistles. For a few dishes, you need to hear 3 whistles. For something else, you need 1 whistle. For something else, you need 5 whistles, whatever it is. You know that you've heard the whistles. You know that there's a lot of steam building up. And you know that the whistles have now stopped. You still give it some more time to settle. And then you will open the pressure cooker. And then you have the dish ready. Are you understanding what I'm saying here? What do? When we hear the whistle, we quickly grab the pressure cooker and open it. What happens? It blasts. That's what will happen in your kitchen, by the way, so never try this. But that's exactly what we're doing with people in relationships. We just want to open it right there. Say, hey, hello, what will it do? It'll create an outburst. So what do? How do we handle this better? We need to allow the steam to settle. We need to give them the space. And in this time, do not bring your ego in to say, oh, how am I going to let him go or let her go with this? You're not letting them go. You're just being more mature, more sensible, more aware that if I'm going to open this cooker right now, it will burst in my face. And I'm protecting myself, not you. Are we getting this? This is very, very important. So when you take this space, when you bring in the silence, you're not doing this for the other person. You're doing this to protect your own sanity, to protect your own dignity, to deal with the situation with some more grace. And nothing shows grace better than stillness, especially when the other person is all over the place. Let them finish their act, give them time to settle down, ask them a direct question. Can I share how I feel? I heard what you said, and I see where you're coming from. Can I share how I feel? And you keep asking this till the person is calm enough to genuinely allow you to do so. Otherwise, you're wasting your precious energy. Let me tell you that, Shilpa, no matter how right you are, it's not even reaching out to the other person because they're hell-bent on proving you wrong. And when you lock horns like this, nobody wins, right? So what do? You need to get out of the situation and look at the situation a little from above and ask people and allow people to settle down and then take their permission to say, may I reach out to you because I want to share something since this relationship is important or this conversation is important or the result we're aiming at is important. Can I share how I feel? Can I make a suggestion to you? Please take permission. I'm telling you, it will help people to open up their mind and receive what you have to say in a much better way than for you to jump in. Try doing that and tell me how it worked, because I have no doubt that this will serve you much better than doing a tit for tat or giving eat ka jawab patthar se, right? So I hope the metaphor stays with you. I hope this response stays with you. And more importantly, I hope you bring it to practice. And when we meet next in this session or any, please do share how this worked out for you. And in the meantime, I want to once again thank everybody else for being here and encouraging you all to please share what you're taking away from these sessions. That's what I look forward to after we conclude the satsang sessions. I want to know if it was useful for you, if you took away some value from this session, and what are some of the other challenges that I can help you deal with. Of course, you know that you can reach out to me on my direct email ID, yukti@sbyacademy.com. And I also want to invite you to visit the website, sbyacademy.com, to stay abreast with the many courses that I keep putting out on public speaking, on communication, on spiritual leadership, transformational leadership, and a few others. So it'll help you to stay abreast, and you can decide whichever one looks the right one for you. On that note, thank you once again for joining me here. And thank you for all the encouragement that I received from you all to keep doing these satsang sessions week after week after week. I can't wait for the next week where I bring in another important insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. Till then, please take care of yourself. I'll see you real soon. God bless you all.